Danny, my father said. Yes, Dad? I've been wondering how a bird manages to keep its balance, sitting on a branch when it's asleep. I don't know. Why? It's very peculiar. What's peculiar? It's peculiar that a bird doesn't topple off its perch as soon as it goes to sleep. After all, if we were sitting on a branch and we went to sleep, we would fall off at once, wouldn't we? Birds have claws and long toes, Dad. I expect they hold on with those. I know that, Danny, but I still don't understand why the toes keep gripping the perch once the bird is asleep. I waited for him to go on. I was just thinking, he said, that if a bird can keep its balance when it's asleep, then surely there isn't any reason why the pills should make it fall down. It's doped. Surely it'll fall down if it's doped. But isn't that simply a deeper sort of sleep? There was a gloomy silence. I should have tested it with roosters, my father added. Suddenly the blood seemed to have drained right out of his cheeks. My dad would have tested it with roosters before he did anything else. At that moment, there came a soft thump from the wood behind us. What was that? I asked. Shh. We stood listening. Thump. There's another, I said. It was a deep, muffled sound, as though a bag of sand had been dropped to the ground. Thump. They're pheasants, I cried. Wait, they must be pheasants, Dad. Thump. Thump. You may be right, Danny. We switched on our torches and ran towards the sounds. Where are they? My father said. Over here, Dad. 2 of them were over here. I thought they were this way. Keep looking, they can't be far. We searched for about a minute. Here's one, my father called. When I got to him, he was holding a magnificent cock bird in both hands. We examined it closely with our torches. It's doped to high heaven, my father said. It won't wake up for a week. Thump. There's another, I cried. Thump. Thump. 2 more, my father yelled. Thump. 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 Jeepers, my father said. Thump. 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 All around us the pheasants were starting to rain down out of the trees. We began rushing round madly in the dark, sweeping the ground with our torches. Thump! 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 This lot fell almost on top of me. I was right under the tree as they came down, and I found all 3 of them immediately, 2 cocks and a hen. Where shall I put them, Dad? Lay them here, Danny. My father was standing on the edge of the clearing, with the moonlight streaming down all over him, and a great bunch of pheasants in each hand. His face was bright, his eyes big and bright and wonderful, and he was staring around him like a child who has just discovered that the whole world is made of chocolate. Thump! 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 It's too many, I cried. It's beautiful, he cried. Thump! 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 It was easy to find them now. I quickly collected 6 more, 3 in each hand, and ran back and dumped them with the others. And still they kept falling. My father was in a whirl of excitement now. Thump! 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 Hey, Danny! I'm over here. What is it, Dad? What do you think the great Mr. Victor Hazel would say if he could see this? Don't talk about it, I said. For 3 or 4 minutes the pheasants kept on falling. Then, suddenly, they stopped. Keep searching, my father shouted. There's plenty more on the ground. Dad, don't you think we ought to get out while the going's good? Never! Not on your life! We went on searching. Between us, we looked under every tree within 100 yards of the clearing, north, south, east, and west, and I think we found most of them in the end. At the collecting point, there was a pile of pheasants as big as a bonfire. It's a miracle, my father was saying. It's an absolute miracle. Shouldn't we just take about 6 each and get out quick? I'd like to count them, Danny. Dad, not now. I must count them. Can't we do that later? 1, 2, 3, 4... He began counting them very carefully, picking up each bird in turn and laying it bravely to one side. The moon was directly overhead now, and the whole clearing was brilliantly lit up. I felt as though I was standing in the glare of powerful headlamps. 117, 118, 119, 120, he cried. It's an all-time record. He looked happier than I'd ever seen him in his life. The most my dad ever got was 15, and he was drunk for a week afterwards. And you did it, Danny. The whole thing was your idea in the first place. I didn't do it, Dad. Oh, yes, you did. And do you know what that makes you, my dear boy? It makes you the champion of the world. He pulled up his sweater and unwound the 2 big cotton sacks from round his belly. Here's yours, he said, handing one of them to me. Fill it up quick.